Every now and then, we come across exceptional moments when the normal routine becomes anything but.
The only thing I could think of was get the fire out.
When the day leaves us battered, tossed around, and falling flat on our face. Moments when we can't believe what we're seeing or who we're seeing. And moments we never see coming.
When I came to, I tried to get up, but I couldn't.
They all share one thing in common.
I didn't expect that.
It was totally unexpected. That was completely unexpected.
Caught on camera when you least expect it. A full-blown riot breaks out after a National Hockey League championship game. It's a mob scene. Smashed windows, cars on fire, stores looted. And a man stealing a kiss? June 15, 2011, Vancouver, British Columbia. It's the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, where the hometown Canucks face the visiting Boston Bruins in a critical Game 7 winner-take-all battle. Rich Lamb is a Vancouver-based photographer who has shot the Canucks home games for the past decade.
The Canucks are huge in Vancouver. I mean, it's the hottest ticket in town.
When the Bruins win the game 4-0 and claim Lord Stanley's Cup in the Canucks' own backyard, the fans don't take the loss well. Vancouver Sun editor Dean Broughton witnesses the riot firsthand.
I walked downtown and there was pillars of smoke coming up. You just knew it was a bad situation. They were throwing rocks at police officers and kicking in windows, and it was a frightening experience.
Guys were coming out of the store like clowns in a mini, just one after the other. It just looked like it was a mad Black Friday sale.
As early evening turns to night, tensions escalate, and there's no end in sight to the looting and vandalism. Riot police take a stand, forming human walls and marching toward the rioters. Local photography student Emily Edgar also finds herself amongst the masses. She flees up a few flights of stairs at a nearby parking garage, recording the action from above, when something catches her attention.
I was shooting the video of people running through the streets. I focused in to sort of see what was going on.
Back on the street, Rich notices the same thing.
My initial thought was that someone was hurt, another person was helping her.
He quickly rattles off a few frames.
That was the picture I thought was my picture of the night from the riot. Just the way I saw it in the frame, I knew it was a good picture.
By midnight, police take back control of the streets, but not before nearly 150 people are hurt, 100 people are arrested, and $4 million in damage is done. After a long night, Rich returns to the arena, dropping off his photos to his editor. He's halfway out the door when someone stops him.
Another photographer who was in the editing room came back and said, "Hey, nice picture of the couple kissing." And I'm thinking, well, I never shot anyone kissing. I shot someone helping another person who I thought was hurt. So she's like, well, they're right in the caption that they're kissing. And I looked up at it, and they were kissing. And at that point, I didn't know what to make of it.
The following morning, Rich's photo spreads like wildfire, and the image of the Vancouver riot kiss takes on a life of its own. The two lovebirds in the midst of the mayhem are compared to that famous scene in From Here to Eternity and other iconic kissing photos.
You have mayhem all around, and you've got the juxtaposition of this couple kissing, this tender kiss, that really kind of sparks something in a lot of people.
So just who are the two people caught kissing in the chaos? It's Aussie native Scott Jones and his girlfriend, Canadian Alexandra Thomas. As it turns out, they get caught in a police search and Alex falls to the ground, with Scott immediately rushing to her side.
I was just trying to calm her down, you know, like it was pretty scary for her, and seemed like the best thing to do.
Jones and Thomas are stunned by the attention they receive from the photo, as they explain in an interview with the Today Show.
It's kind of amazing that there was someone there to take a photo of that and capture that. You know, I would always know those feelings and emotions from that, but that there's a photograph that so clearly shows it is just pretty incredible.
I guess it was just such a good shot, people couldn't believe that that would happen. It was just like the perfect lighting, perfect focus.
Rich is also amazed at how his single snapshot has been called the most compelling sports image of the year.
It was quite interesting to see that, you know, a picture I took is that popular. To have one photo all of a sudden going everywhere to all corners of the market, it was quite surreal.
Rich's photo will no doubt live on as a special moment captured in time. However, it's part of a moment most Vancouverites would rather forget.
A whole bunch of people went out the next day and went to go clean up. And that's a representation of the Vancouver that I know.
It's a shameful moment, but I don't think it's going to tar the city's image.
It was senseless violence over hockey. It wasn't a wrongful death or a wrongful shooting by the police. It wasn't, you know, a rally against poverty. It was a hockey game, and we lost.
Coming up, a car plows into a supermarket, mowing down everyone in its path. And what's Gumby doing on a late-night run? When caught on camera, when you least expect it, continues. Food shoppers get the surprise of their lives when a car comes barreling into a supermarket.
A car just came through the Publix. Yeah. Is anybody hurt? I don't know.
When I came to, I tried to get up, but I couldn't.
It's Saturday, April 14th, 2012. A typical afternoon for LaShonda Hampton of Palm Coast, Florida, and 2 of her 5 children, 3-month-old Tyshawn and 15-year-old Marshana.
We come out on a Saturday afternoon, nice day, go for a walk, and go to the store, and that happened to us, and it's heartbreaking.
They finished their food shopping at the Publix grocery store on Belterre Parkway just before 1:30 p.m. and are about to make their way to a nearby nail salon. But before they leave, they pause for a moment near the exit doors to place some groceries beneath the baby's stroller.
She sat down at the bench and started putting them under the carriage, and I was standing up by the newsstand.
After I finished putting the stuff up on the carriage, I sat up. As soon as I sat up, I just heard a loud boom.
That's when, out of nowhere, a car comes plowing through the glass doors, mowing down everything and everyone in its path.
It came in so fast to the point that it swept us away like it wasn't no tomorrow.
I was just laying there, whatever, with blood all over me. And I'm like, what just happened? What just happened? And the lady was like, a car just hit you.
The car's impact, caught on the store's security camera, is like an explosion, sending glass, metal, shoppers, and Tyshawn's detachable car seat flying through the air.
I went over to the stroller and looked for my baby. I'm throwing everything out of it, debris, everything. I didn't see him. So I screamed out, "Where's my baby? Where's my baby? Where's my daughter?" I was thinking the worst. I was like, because I didn't hear him, I didn't hear her. Everybody else in there I heard laying on the floors.
The car bowls through the checkout lanes and comes to a stop 60 feet from the store's entrance. An 83-year-old man is pinned underneath the vehicle. A store manager and other bystanders react quickly and lift the car off of the victim. Rescuers are immediately called to the scene.
911, where's the emergency? A car just came through the Publix. Yeah. Is anybody hurt? I don't know. It came all the way through.
In all, 10 shoppers are injured. But to everyone's amazement, Tyshawn remains strapped into his car seat, suffering only a bump on the head after being flung nearly 50 feet from the point of impact.
I just kept looking at his body, just feeling his body, just feeling his arms, his neck. And I was just like, is he okay? Do he have a scratch anywhere on him? Because I know a lot of glass was everywhere.
On August 16, 2012, Thelma Wagenhofer of Palm Coast is found guilty of careless driving. Her license is suspended for 3 months, and she is required to take the exam to get it back.
I had to get 32 stitches altogether, and I have lumps on my body.
I'm still pulling glass out of my leg.
The Florida Highway Patrol doesn't find any mechanical problems with Wagenhofer's car, a 2004 Toyota Camry. As for LaShonda and her children, they're recovering from this harrowing ordeal the best they can.
I thank the Lord that I'm still alive right now.
A lot of people said that they're surprised that nobody, actually passed away in the accident. So I really feel lucky that I didn't.
For a far less impactful, yet oddly curious entrance, you wouldn't expect to see America's most beloved green latex character in a 7-Eleven late at night. But this time, Gumby's caught on the store's security camera, and he's up to no good. It's Monday morning of Labor Day weekend 2011 when Detective Gary Hassan of the San Diego Police Department gets briefed on a strange incident that occurred the night before.
A person in a Gumby costume walks in the door, throws his hands up in the air, and says, "This is a robbery." The clerk really didn't know if it was serious or not. When his manager came in at 6 o'clock in the morning and they reviewed the tape, and the manager said, "No, that was an attempted robbery." Then they called the police.
After viewing the store footage, San Diego police draw some conclusions about Gumby's scheme.
When Gumby came in, he had an accomplice with him who came in behind him. The plan here was that Gumby would distract, accomplice would shoplift. It wasn't going the way they thought it should, and the partner left, got in the van, pulled up to the front door. Gumby turned around and walked out the door.
Wasting little time, the SDPD releases the video.
And Gumby has taken himself to the pokey.
We wanted that video out to the public as soon as we could possibly get it. And literally by Friday night, the phones were ringing off the hook about not Gumby, but the chap who came in behind him.
Longtime pals 19-year-old Jacob Kiss and 20-year-old Jason Jarama of Rancho Penasquitos have a history of goofing around together. It's 2 days after the incident when they find out that police are looking for Gumby.
My face was just showed up on the camera. It says San Diego Police Department, and we're like, oh man, that can't be good, man. They're looking for us, and you can see my face clearly, so it's like, we're thinking we're definitely done.
It's Jacob donning the Gumby costume, and Jason is his sidekick, his pokey, if you will. Jason explains his version of that late night run.
He walks in the store, and you see me waving or whatever. Stupid me, I take something from the back and I walk out, and that's what really got us in trouble.
After seeing the video, the boys turn themselves and the Gumby garb in. They're released on their own recognizance and given a court date. But before they go, police make an unusual request.
Gumby was asked to put the costume on, it just, to make sure it fit, and it did.
They plead guilty to 1 count of misdemeanor burglary and are given 3 years probation. Still, Detective Hassan wants the guys to realize how lucky they are.
There are other markets out there that they may have tried this stunt with, and it's very likely that Gumby could have or would have been shot and or killed.
At the time, we didn't think it was a big deal. But, anyone could have been in the store, had a gun, and wanted to, be the hero, of course.
After his 15 minutes in the spotlight, Jason says he intends to grow from this lesson.
We're not bad kids, we just made a stupid decision. And of course, we're taking full responsibility for it now, paying for it. All you high school students, just think twice. You never know when you're gonna get caught on camera.
Coming up, she's racing for the Big Ten title and then takes a big-time tumble.
It was like the wind got taken out of the whole crowd.
When caught on camera when you least expect it continues. Talk about an unexpected ending. Falling flat on your face in the middle of a race. Then coming back with a chance to win it the very next minute?
I think that actually the first thing I said was, I didn't expect that.
March 2nd, 2008, at the University of Minnesota in the Twin Cities. It's the last day of the tightly contested Big Ten Championship of women's indoor track.
Unless you win the national title, nobody really cares if you're 10th or 12th or whatever. But if you win a Big Ten title, that's a big deal.
Senior Heather Dorniden-Kampf is in lane 4 of the second heat for the 600-meter finals.
I think my coaches were kind of expecting me to really put it forward and try and win that race, and I'm sure my parents thought the same thing.
Throughout her college career, Heather set several school records for the track team. A win here will help propel Minnesota to the top of the Big Ten standings. The home crowd can barely contain its enthusiasm as the gun sounds for this 3-lap race. 1 lap down, and all is going well for the 9-time All-American.
My plan for the race was to just hang out behind whoever was leading it and then take it at the end.
But as the pack finishes lap number 2, something happens.
I was cutting in to try and get to the inside lane before the first curve. I was kind of running and then felt something on my right foot, and then when I tried to correct that, somebody must have stepped on my left foot, and so I kind of felt like I was hogtied and just went down.
Heather does a face plant in the middle of the track.
It was like the wind got taken out of the whole crowd. It was just like,
Didn't really know what happened for the first step, and then the second step was when I really just went down. And I think I actually got the words, "Oh no," out as I was falling.
Friend and former teammate Elizabeth Yetzer can barely watch.
The whole stadium's just like, oh my gosh, you know, and of course you're thinking she's done.
The rest of the pack bolts past Heather, leaving her several yards behind, entering the final lap. But with the heart of a champion, Heather gets up.
it took a while for everybody to catch their breath and then go, oh my Lord, something very, very special is happening here.
I knew that I needed to continue to run and just earn some points for the team.
She starts to make her move.
To me, they're all bodies and they're targets out there. I had my first target in sights and I started catching her, and after I had passed my first person, then I saw that the other two weren't that far away. And then as I was coming around the final curve of the race, I heard the announcer say, "And watch out for Heather Dorniden."
The crowd can't believe what it's witnessing.
Oh my word, she's gonna do this, she can do this. People were just jumping up and down and going crazy and just in awe.
And the decibel level went way through the roof. And that was what was so electrifying. It was just a crescendo kind of thing. It just got louder and louder and louder and louder. You had more energy and electricity in that meet than the Hoover Dam.
Heather runs her heart out, catching her competitors one at a time. She inches her way to the lead runner. The race is neck and neck, and in the very last moment, she completes her unbelievable finish, edging out teammate Jamie Dittmar by 4/100ths of a second. Heather's parents, Connie and Frank, are in the stands, awestruck at their daughter's accomplishment.
Just to see someone fall down and get up and put that effort in at the end, they said it was just amazing to watch.
I never felt anything like that before. You're just amazing. People crying, laughing, screaming, jumping.
People were going crazy. I mean, nobody could believe it. I mean, officials were coming over, but everybody just was so energized after that that there was no way we were going to lose that meet.
Heather herself can't believe how she did it.
I don't know really where it came from. It's funny because everyone says how gutsy I was and how hard it must have been to finish that race like that. But honestly, I think it's the most effortless I've ever felt in a race. It was truly like I was lifted up on angel's wings.
With the crowd still in a tizzy over her outrageous feat, Heather prepares to take her spot atop the ceremony podium. That's when Audrey Smoot of Indiana University brings her back down to earth. Audrey won the first heat just before Heather's, besting Heather's time by slightly more than 1/10 of a second. But she didn't fall down.
She's like, I actually won. I was like, oh, sorry, and had to scoot on over again to take second there, but it was just one of those funny things that I was just on cloud nine and thought I had won everything, and then it took someone to say, hey, move over.
Heather's second place overall finish in the 600 meters adds a crucial 8 points to Minnesota's team total.
8 points was exactly the margin of our victory for the team that day, so it's kind of a happy coincidence that if I hadn't gotten up and finished the race, we would have lost or tied.
Heather graduates from the University of Minnesota in December 2009, but Coach Wilson will never forget Heather's golden moment.
She's got the heart of a lion. We may never see that again ever in our lives, something of that nature.
Coming up, speedboaters make a hard left and then exit stage right. And there's nothing routine about this villa. When caught on camera, when you least expect it, continues. Imagine the thrill of bolting along at high speeds on the high seas, burning around the buoys, when all of a sudden, watch out, you go flying into the water.
It looks like I'm doing a backwards choreographed dive.
Terry Davidson and Clay Avedisian of Panama City Beach, Florida, have been together for nearly 2 decades, and they're both at home on the water.
Probably in my life I've owned 10 or 12 or 13 boats.
Which I've driven pleasure boats plenty of times.
In the mid-1990s, Clay has an idea for the two of them to try their hand at offshore powerboat racing. He'll steer the boat, and she'll make sure they don't get lost.
He goes, well, I just need you to navigate. And I said, so basically all I have to do is hold on? He said, yes. I said, I can do that.
The pair purchased their first powerboat and name it Pure Energy.
The Pure Energy boat was the fastest boat, which would run right at 90 miles an hour. It was just a 26-foot single-engine boat.
They raced Pure Energy for 3 years, finishing at or near the top at several events. In 2000, they decide to up the ante by getting an even bigger boat.
The Lady Hustler was a 38-footer with twin engines, and it would just top out about 85 to 88.
Clay figures, since they have a new boat, why not try a new driver to boot? He asks Terry to get behind the wheel of the Lady Hustler, and she agrees. It's April 9th, 2000 at the Florida Spring Fling in East Lake Tohopekaliga in St. Cloud.
It was an opportunity for everybody to kind of get some of the bugs worked out. We were a new team as far as Terry driving, and our first time racing the Lady Hustler.
It was kind of nerve-wracking, but what Clay had said is that he wanted for us to stay in the back and just let everybody go so that I could get comfortable with handling the boat.
The race begins, and as seen from a camera mounted on the front of the boat, things are going smoothly for Team Lady Hustler. So smooth that Clay encourages Terry to pass a couple of boats ahead of them.
Forget that plan where you're going to stay back and be conservative, and he's like, okay, let's take them. Jump over his weight. I either wanted to go in between the two of them and handle the two weights, or I wanted to go on the outside of them. And he said, no, go on the inside. So I did, and I listened to what he said. I tell you to turn. All right. And when Clay gets excited about something, he repeats the same words over and over and over. So he kept saying turn, and he kept repeating it. Turn.
and I kept turning it and turning it. And simultaneously at the same time, one of the wakes from the boats in front of us hit right at the bow.
Jump over his wake.
And it does it so fast that anything that's loose inside the boat comes out.
Including them. Without warning, Terry and Clay are launched from the Lady Hustler into the lake.
It was totally unexpected that we'd ever be thrown out of the boat. The first time I hit the water, my arms and legs were going in every direction. I skipped just like a stone.
Going 80 miles an hour, the couple is ejected from their racer.
If you listen to it real close, you hear this, and then you hear me scream. It was the impact of that wake hitting, and I just remember my head hitting, and then I went in.
The whole scene just slowed right down for me. I didn't know what had happened.
The kill switch goes off as they're slung out to sea, shutting down the engine and giving Terry and Clay a chance to gather their bearings, swim back to the boat, and complete the race. They finish dead last.
There was only one other girl that was racing, and she did earn the respect for getting back in the boat and finishing the race.
They come out of the boating accident unscathed. The couple goes on to race the Lady Hustler for 2 more years before drifting away from the racing scene in 2002.
It's not a sport where you really make any money at it. It's really self-funded. It's a hobby.
With offshore powerboat racing now in their wake, these days, Terry and Clay have switched gears entirely, focusing their attention on land. In fact, you can say that they've gone to the dogs.
It's been 10 years now. Worked with different shelters and rescue groups, and currently I'm the president of the Humane Society here in Bay County.
They're also parlaying yet another passion of theirs into helping man's best friend. They own a wine shop called The Wine Dog. Looking back, Terry and Clay have cherished memories of the ups and downs and ins and outs of their racing days. But this video caught on camera was surely not their finest hour.
And you have to remember as to, you know, how fortunate we really were. We were very, very lucky.
In Canada's North Bay, Ontario, 212 miles north of Toronto, a routine fill-up unexpectedly blows up, threatening everyone in a half-mile radius. October 16, 2008. It's a crisp fall night at the Mr. Gas fuel station. It's conveniently located in the middle of a residential neighborhood. Corey Jameson is the only employee on duty that evening.
It was your typical clear, quiet October evening. Not too much going on.
At about 9 o'clock that night, grainy security camera number 4 captures a young man in a red cap topping off his sedan. One of his passengers steps out, laughing with the driver and 2 others who remain in the back seat. No one is prepared for what happens next. As the passenger reaches down near the pump nozzle, this mundane task goes bad in a flash. The situation quickly worsens when the driver panics, pulling the gas nozzle from the car, spraying gas across the vehicle and pavement.
Dealing with one customer, and the next thing I know, I see a flash out of the corner of my eye. I look out, and sure enough, there's a car on fire.
As trained, Corey hits the emergency pump shutoff button. This prevents thousands of gallons of gas beneath the station from adding more fuel to the fire. The driver and all of his passengers flee from the blaze.
Fireball was pretty big. When it hit the top of the canopy, it spread about halfway across.
In all the excitement, Corey relies on his instincts and takes matters into his own hands.
I ran around the counter, ran outside to that fire extinguisher out there, bought it off the pillar there, pulled the jacket off it, pulled the pin.
In less than 10 seconds, Corey single-handedly snuffs the fire, saving the gas station, the surrounding homes, and everyone nearby.
I don't like to think about what could have happened had I not gotten that fire out when I did. I mean, it could have been catastrophic.
With disaster averted, one question remains. what caused the fire. Reviewing the security tape, investigators believe it's caused by gas vapors that had built up near the nozzle.
The one kid leans in where the gas is being pumped, sticks his hand in there, and the next thing you know, there's a fire at the side of the car. So, I mean, it could have been a static shock, it could have been a lighter, who knows?
However it started, it's clear from the video why the fire spread.
The pumps have a lock on the nozzle that keeps it pumping without you having to hold your hand on it. So when he went to grab that hose out of the car, the pump was still going. It was still pumping fuel out. That's why there was that initial fireball when he pulled it out. Without the safety shutoff switches that we have in place, I mean, that gas nozzle was pretty well a giant flamethrower.
To help prevent gas station fires like this, many states and provinces have required the lock on the pump nozzle removed. That way, gas stops flowing when a customer releases the handle. When fire personnel show up later, they have only praise for Corey, who saves the day. Coming up, is the Cape Crusader joking around, or could he be in serious trouble?
I was really not expecting to get physical.
When caught on camera, when you least expect it, returns. Las Vegas, Nevada, Sin City, a town known for hosting the great fights. Hagler versus Hearns, Tyson versus Holyfield, and Batman versus a tourist?
That was completely unexpected.
It's early May 2011, and Marcus Pace of Huntsville, Texas, is visiting Fight Town for the first time. He's walking on the strip with some family members when something catches his eye.
All of a sudden, I seen like two guys arguing. It went from like a playful little, hey, and then, yeah, it got serious.
Marcus can't believe what he's seeing. It's a scene right off the comic book pages. Only this is no Joker.
That's what turned my head towards the whole situation with Batman getting loud.
Maxwell Allen, aka Batmax, has been making a living by dressing up as the Cape Crusader for more than a decade. First on Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles, and in 2010, he moves to the Las Vegas Strip.
Here we go, Mom. I like being my own boss. I like working with the kids, and I kind of like being out there.
Like virtually all of the street characters on the strip, Batmax works solely for tips, posing for photos, and then relying on the generosity of Batman's adoring fans for his income.
Everybody thinks, you're making great, money every day, which is not true. I mean, one day you can do really well, up to $100 a day sometimes. And then other days you could be out there, 2-3 hours and hardly make anything, not even bus fare.
We do work on a propina for the photos, guys, okay? Now, did you want all of us?
Of course, an unsteady income is just one of the many factors Batmax and other street characters take into consideration when dressing their parts.
You get a lot of drinkers, and of course a lot of comments, a lot of insults. A lot of people like to come by and just, slap you for no reason because they think it's funny. As I go out there, I try to do the best persona of Batman that I can be, but then there are times, where you run into it that it's really hard to keep in character.
Which brings us back to the battle between Batmax and the tourist he calls Polo Boy. Max tells his version of how the confrontation plays out. He's posing for a picture with two women when...
He snuck up and punched me as hard as he could in the chest and more or less knocked me off the box that I was standing on. At the time, I wasn't, gonna do anything about it. But then the two old ladies said, Batman, you're not gonna let him get away with that, are you?
Batmax then dashes down the strip and catches up to Polo Boy.
I was a little pissed off because I just didn't understand, you know, how you hit a perfect stranger. It doesn't matter how he's dressed, and then think it was funny.
Max admits he has issues dealing with his temper, as is depicted in the 2007 documentary, Confessions of a Superhero.
I let a lot of people walk away, but there's just some that I don't. They need it. They need to be beaten down to open their eyes. And all I'm doing is volunteering for the job.
But this time, Max may have bitten off more than he can chew. The confrontation quickly escalates as Batmax whips back his cape and prepares for battle. Polo Boy taunts him with his impersonation of Spider-Man.
Is it serious?
Max is not amused. And before you know it, holy fisticuffs, it's on.
I didn't expect it at all. I knew it was going to get verbal, but I was really not expecting it to get physical.
Smack, bang, pow. It's a mano-a-mano two-man melee. Batmax gets Polo Boy in a headlock, but the tides quickly turn as Polo Boy lifts him in the air, slams him onto the pavement, and follows up with a series of fists to the head.
When he slammed me onto the water bottle, so the impact on me wasn't that bad. It looks like it's really brutal, but it didn't hurt. It hardly affected me at all. The rubber took a lot of impact onto it.
Shop owners call the police, who quickly close in on the scene and stop both men for questioning. No charges are filed, and they're told to go their separate ways. Marcus, who's filming everything, sees Polo Boy afterwards, shows him the video, and gets a post-fight interview.
I told him shit about Robin. He might have had a chance.
He posts the video online, and over the next few months, Marcus's video, Batman Beatdown on the Vegas Strip, gets more than 1 million views. With Polo Boy having left Vegas, a frustrated Batmax hopes to get vengeance and one day have another shot at him. In fact, in September 2011, he posts his own video online, calling out his new arch nemesis.
I put it into a kind of a Rocky montage kind of thing, and it shows me working out, doing my martial arts, and showing that I do know how to fight. Now, I'm not as big as of a sissy as everybody's taking me for now because of that original video.
Caught on Camera reached out to Adrian Gamboa, aka Polo Boy, but he declined to participate in this story. Back on the Strip, things have changed for several street characters since the Batmax Polo Boy smackdown.
I work with 5 guys besides myself, and we call ourselves the Avenger League now. So a lot of us, you know, are working in teams now. A lot of characters also carrying like pepper spray and tasers and you know, other weapons that are legal to carry.
And what if Polo Boy ever answers his call out?
If we see each other again, I'm gonna ask him. I mean, are you sorry for it or not? If he is truly sorry for it, I'll forgive him. But if he's not, then well, let's set it up, buddy. Seriously.
I ain't doing it.
Coming up, holiday shoppers stare stunned. Who's making a scene at this New Jersey mall?
Wanna sit on you.
When Caught on Camera, when you least expect it, continues. When it comes to holiday shopping at the mall, we pretty much know what to expect. The crowds, the long lines, and Santa listening to Christmas wishes. But on November 12, 2011, the Garden State Plaza in Paramus, New Jersey, becomes a caught-on-camera location for an ambush celebration.
Hey, Santa, Santa, I wanna sit on you.
Shoppers are about to witness a whole different kind of Christmas carol as hidden cameras are set up throughout the mall's atrium.
You're never too old to sit on Santa.
Once the stage is set, people step out from the crowd one at a time and sing a verse in this Kris Kringle jingle.
You can keep your holly and your Christmas tree. I want to put my butt on Santa's knee.
You're never too old to
Sit on Santa. That's right.
As soon as the second person comes on doing the same weird thing, particularly if they don't seem like they know each other, then it becomes really something that you're going to pay attention to.
Mall Santa Musical is the most recent guerrilla musical from Improv Everywhere,
If I don't get a napkin.
a New York City-based prank collective that's been bringing the absurd into everyday life for more than 10 years.
Everybody's got to have their holiday special, and I felt like this was Improv Everywhere's chance for a holiday special.
The idea of people sort of standing in line for Santa is a fun thing to play with, and there's sort of a built-in audience already, passersby and people waiting.
It goes from like confusion to like questioning to just getting on board and being really elated about it.
9-year-old Sebastian Thomas is the youngest person ever to participate in an Improv Everywhere mission.
I think Santa's stupid.
What?
I'm almost 10 years old now.
He turned 9 in July.
Last year I asked for robots, but Santa gave me an army guy.
All right, that was your father's fault.
Hey, kid.
Fourth grader to be hating Santa. It's pretty funny for someone like that to be hating Santa.
You're never too old to sit on Santa. Whether you're
Onlookers aren't sure who to trust. Take this woman, for instance.
She went up to Lauren and said, what is this? They were sort of commiserating on, why is this guy singing? And then, 10 seconds later, Lauren steps out and starts singing.
You're never too old to
sit on Santa.
This same woman, maybe a minute later, is talking to the actor Jim Santangeli, and then he starts singing too.
I'd like to sit on Santa. You should. But I'm worried I'm too fat.
You're not fat, you're just a little husky.
Thanks so much for saying that.
Internet musical comedians Evan and Michael Gregory leapt at the chance to move the scene forward.
We'd been fans for a long time, so we're very familiar with the concept, and it took very little explaining. We were on board from minute one.
Hey! Hey! Hey, look up, dudes. I am high above you. I've got a box, and I love to sing. Everyone looks so warm. How's about a snowstorm?
Being the guy that brought the snow to the party just kind of took everything to the next level.
No! Hey, do you want to sit on Santa's lap?
No, I don't think so. I'm Jewish.
Happy Hanukkah.
See you later. Anybody else? Come on, anyone? Come on.
Anyone?
It would be an honor and a privilege. I am a humble Christmas present. Probably socks or a pair of shoes. But I believe in magic. I will sit on Santa too.
I couldn't possibly see how such a song filled with so much Christmas cheer could not be a winner.
And just when the crowd thinks it's over...
Wait! You're never too old to sit on Santa.
Santa, you're gonna let all these people sit on you?
I'm Santa Claus! Everyone can sit on me!
Oh, yay!
Who wants to be first?
So next time you're in the mall, a food court, or a lecture hall, stay on your toes, because where music can come from, nobody knows.
To me, I'm always looking for what's the next idea, what's the thing that no one would ever expect to happen in a public place.